me you had to go to Shreveport, and they'll re-enlist you. I said, that's fine. I still got to retain my rank and all that. He said, yeah. And then I got called, went out to visit JR, my younger brother. Ended up going out to Sherman, Texas, and getting a job out there at Prairie Air Force Base. So that kept me from going back in service.
So you went to work at an Air Force base?
Huh?
You went to work at an Air Force base?
Yeah. Yeah. So JR's mother-in-law works out there as a civilian. And when I went to visit JR, we stayed with his mother-in-law and his father-in-law. And his father-in-law was a retired captain or something in the Army. And I just happened to mention to Miss Grant that if they had civilians working at Prairie Air Force Base, she said, yeah, I work out there. I said, they need any communicators? She said, I don't know, but I'll find out. Well, bless Pete. I go back to Bastrop with Ann, and about the middle of the next week, I get a call. I'm out there working in a chemical plant in Bastrop. That's a Bightford anyway. I get a call, and she said, Dean, they got civilians working out there in communications. And they got a job opening in communications. She said, I told the civilian personnel guy, whoever it was, can't think of his name, anyway, that you were interested. And he told me to call you. And if you're interested, be out here Friday to take a test. I think it was on a Wednesday. I think I'd be in a hurry on the job. I was loading one of them trucks with that sulfate. Mm-hmm. And I had 6 bags on a dolly. And I went up a ramp, and when I hit that paper they'd put down, that I told the foreman not to put down, that way, he put it straight. I said, well, that's just crossways. Mm-hmm. So if you hit that with a dolly, you're going to fall. Somebody's going to bust their butt. Well, I did. I went up on that ramp with that dolly, and when I got on the back of that truck and that paper laying there, the paper just scooted right out from under me, being dollied 600 pounds of sulfate hit the truck. Mm-hmm. They sent me to the doctor. I had a bruised knee, and the doctor said it looked like it was cracked. But anyway, they sent me home, and told me to recover for a few days. Well, when I got the call, saying they asked me if I could be out at Prairie Air Force Base Friday to take a test. And I told her, I said, I'll be there. If I have to come in an ambulance, I'll be there. Ann was working at the drugstore there about it. So I told her, I said, we're going back to Sherman, Texas. So I went out there and got there, went back out there. Miss Grant tickled to death because JR had odd jobs, and he married her daughter. And she was anxious to get me out there to help slow JR down, I guess. But anyway, she was tickled, excited about me maybe coming to work. Hartwick was the guy's name, civilian personnel. So I got back out there, went out there and was talking to him. He just telling me when to be there, what time Friday to be there, and all that. He said, let me give you a little hint. He said, you already know what's going on in that communication, but you worked in it for years. So on my application, I identified what I did. He said, but when you're taking this test, he said, you know the answer, just check it. Just put a little mark by it. Don't wait and try to color it all in and all that. The more of them you can get answered, the better off your score's gonna be. I said, gotcha. So I went out there to take the test. They had us in a room. And I remember what he said. When I took that test, I knew the answer. I just put a little check mark by it and just went right down that page. And I went through the whole test. He stopped us, and went through. He said, now I'm going to give you a chance to go back and color in your answers real good. Because you don't want to make a machine will determine your answers. So you want to make sure it's colored in good. So I said, that was the tip he gave me. The more you get, the more chances you'll have. So I went back and colored all of them in. And they graded me out. Gave me a piece of paper to take this down to the commander of the communications outfit. He'll be the one to hire you, if you're hired. So I took the paper in a little envelope, went down there and seen the lieutenant or whatever he was, gave him the paper. He opened it up and he looked at it. He says, dang, I don't see how anybody could beat that score. He said, you did pretty good on that score. Oh, this just was ringing back up my head, The little check mark gives you more time. So he went through it, made some notations on a piece of paper, took it back in the envelope, and handed it back to me. He just take it right to the guy at personnel. I said, okay. I just got up and left. Went back up to the personnel office. Walked in the door, Mr. Harvey says, well, did you get the job? I said, I don't know. He didn't say. He told me to give you this envelope. He said, you didn't ask him? I said, no, sir. Wasn't my business. It's his decision to make. He opened up the envelope and pulled it out and said, you got the job. I said, thank God. Thank the Lord. GS4.
How long were you at Sherman?
I got out there and at 68 I left. Yeah, 68. I went to work in the comm center. Then they converted it to a crypto facility, which was my other job that I had. Everything just fell in place. And then they had to open up a junior college, just all out the gate. So I enrolled in it under the GI Bill. Got a little extra money coming in. And I didn't know what to take. I was just taking regular courses, and I decided to zero in on computers. And they happened to have a 36020 computer, IBM, that they were using in the school. So I signed up for that. And the other regular courses, all math, English, and all that stuff. I had to have all that too. But I was going for that money I got from GI, from GI Bill.
Right.
And then when they converted to crypto, I already had a clearance, a previous clearance, and I told them OSI District 4 in Dallas, Texas is the one that done the check on me. So it didn't take them long to verify all that and call me in to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they took all that shit, and I went to that school out there, and I didn't know what computer it was, couldn't always fit it. But I remember when I was at Andrews, they converted one of the office places just off of the communication center into an IBM data card processing plant. And I went over and helped the guy a time or two. Know what I was doing, and of course he would tell me what to do, and I'd do it. But that's how my first experience with data cards. I thought that was funny, but everything on that little card had punch holes in the damn thing all over the place. But anyway, I studied it, and that instructor, I'll never forget it. I was having trouble remembering a bunch of stuff. He said, "It's okay, y'all don't get all upset about it. He said, one of these days it'll be like an anvil falling over your head. It'll come to you." So we were right along in the course. He asked me something. I said, "Sir, I'm waiting for that anvil to fall on my head. I'm lost." He laughed, but he said, "It'll come to you." And bless Pete, I went to Red River Army Depot, put an application in, went out to talk to him about a job. Harold Watkins and Margie Young. And I told them that I was studying computers in college. And they said, "Well, we're supposed to be getting one." So they gave me a encouraging word, you know. That's about all. I went back to praying and went back to work. Some of the other guys were getting a little concerned about the stability of the Pearl Air Force Base. I was there working. I went to Houston with my brother and applied at NASA down there. And the boy called me and wanted to hire me. And I told him he'd have to move me down there. He said, "Well, I'll have to get that checked out first." I said, "Well, you check it out and if you get it approved, well, give me a call. I'll move to Houston." Well, in 3 or 4 days, I get a call. He said, "It's approved. We'll take you." So I went in and seen the communications outfit and talked to the people. So they knew what I knew. And he said, "We'd like to check on you and get you down here, move you and all that." I said, "Let me know." They said, "We will. But said, we want you." I said, "Okay." I said, "You gotta move. I can't afford to move all this shit." Well, bless Pete, it wasn't a day or so, I get a call from Red River saying, "Miss Price would like to interview you for a job." I said, "Well, when do they want me?" It was the next day or so. I said, "I'll be there." So I went out and talked to Earl and his girlfriend Margie. She run the comm center. He was the director. Went out and talked to him, and see what they had to say. Because from Red River to Sherman wasn't 100, maybe 150 miles. I don't know. But when I left talking to them, I went back to Sherman. About 2 days later, I get a call from Red River. Said, "Mr. Price, we want you to take his job. Got a job for you out here." I said, "I'll take it." That was halfway between where I lived and Baxter. I said, "That'll cut down the trip to go home in half." So I took it. And got out there and they was just installing that computer. And they had an electric, anyway, the IBM guy that used to work at Red River, IBM had hired him, and he was going to be the one to install the system, software package. And he's the one I had to work with. And I didn't know shit from alphabet or hardly about software. But I knew the communication side of it. and how it had to work. Because you had to be connected to Taker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City. So I helped him in that respect, and he helped me in the software stuff. But we got that system up and running. And that was in I went out there in '68. It was summertime, '68. So that's where I was until me and Harold Watkins had a little run in.
This
And they abolished my job.
Margie Young. You remember Paul Young? If I say Paul, remember the guy we run into at Denny's? I think that's his mother.
Really?
I'm thinking that's his mother, and I know the name Margie Young. Do you remember a Lois Ruby?
Hmm?
Do you remember a Lois Ruby?